cooking food is dumb. Buy all your food. Explain that.
When I went to the grocery store, I made my list, checked it twice, went to Costco, bought all the food, came back, unpacked it, prepped it, cooked it, boxed it, put it in the fridge, and then every time I would eat it, I would take it out, I would eat the food, I would clean my dishes.
Oftentimes you have to cook twice anyways, because like by the 6th day, the chicken starts looking weird.
Yeah.
So when I started adding up the math, I was like, the math didn't pencil out. And so I knew that if I just worked my leads for a day, I would make an extra $1,000.
You know, people like all the normies on like Reddit think that, oh, they're saving money if they're cooking and stuff. No, because you're losing brain points and you're losing time. It's something that would be hard for me to explain to you till you've experienced this paradigm shift where you're like, oh yeah, my time's actually how I get shit done. And the reason why I'm not successful is simply literally just one reason, is because I don't value my time, because I spend it cooking to save $3 instead of just buying it out.
Let's try it. Why not?
Yo bro, it's lunch. I've just come down from my workstation and here is what I'm eating. I wish I could turn this camera around, but iPhone hasn't invented that feature yet. Alright, just pulled this out of the fridge. Here's what we eating. Took Hamza's advice. I know this sounds like, this looks pretty out of ordinary. I'd usually have my steak and eggs, but since Hamza said he has a Warrington delivery service of meal prep, I've decided to try a service of my own. So I'm gonna pour this out on a plate and I'll see if it's good. Okay, so the portions are actually pretty big from the looks of it. I had to cut out the plastic because of how vacuum sealed it was. As you can hear from my voice, it's legit trembling. This happens to my voice. Makes me sound weak whenever I intermittent fast, but who cares? Because the brain gains, you get me? Like, I'm 10 times more sharp and smart if I don't eat in the morning. Well, Jesus Christ, my voice. I'm gonna stock up on this and then I should be feeling like a whole man again. Alright, so this is pre-heat up. I haven't heated it up yet, but as you can see from the size of this plate and my hand, it's pretty decent portion, but this is nowhere near my 1 meal per day amount. So I think I'm gonna have another meal after this at night, perhaps before my last work block. But I think what I'm gonna do now to make it more bulky is add a little bit of olive oil and some sea salt and some black pepper. I've microwaved it, added my additives. Damn, smells just like a Japanese meal. Very nice. I guess they call it teriyaki salmon because it's teriyaki salmon. Here is the coffee, by the way, and here is the prep kitchen thing. They actually messed up. So apparently something happened to their printing machine, and so they couldn't get the amazing labels that they have on here. So they just like got some white ass paper. But yeah, here's some strong Vietnamese coffee because in the morning I have decaf because I need to get straight to work because it's 90 minutes ultradian circadian, whatever it's called, circadian rhythm. Adenosine activates after the 90 minutes of cortisol, and then you can drink caffeine. But if you drink caffeine before the 90 minutes finishes, then you will get shit on in the afternoon. So here is my afternoon Vietnamese coffee. I'm not Vietnamese, by the way.
I wanted to first go over some thoughts that you may or may not have before trying this out. And I believe this is the best way of doing it, is to show you other people's comments, the most liked comments, criticizing and hating on this method. There is one huge misconception on this method. For you, it is a way that doesn't take any mental effort. But for me, it drains me to eat the same things. Cooking effectively is a break that I very enjoy. That's one variable that makes my life enjoyable. Now, I think the first thing we need to address in this comment is, I don't think this guy has, without trying to insult him, I don't think he's experienced the brain point system well enough to understand. If he is saying cooking is a break, the thousands of decisions you make during cooking, oh, should I cut the onion this way? Oh, should I even use onions? Oh, should I take it off the heat now, or whatever. These, even if it's subconscious and you don't think it in your brain, that you don't have the narration there, it still takes a cut away from you. It still takes your mental energy. And no, it doesn't drain you to eat the same thing. It may drain you in a different way and you may get bored of it, but truly speaking, it won't take away from your mental energy. And this is very hard to explain if you've never experienced that burning feeling on the front of your forehead after doing hours of work and hours of decision making. I recognize that cooking is a very enjoyable thing for families especially, but it can be for the individual as well, because it's like a form of meditation, I guess. Trust me, I love cooking because obviously I'm Asian. But the thing is if you don't have this inner desire for money, I truly don't think you would get what this method is. It's the same way with people who don't have the desire with money looking at Tate. They look at Tate and they hate him. And another thing is, let me go on a side tangent real quick. I heard this thing from Alex Hormozy. He said that you can't hate and understand someone at the same time. Therefore, if you don't have this traumatized desire for success, it's very hard to explain it to you. And this comment, I don't think there's really any point in addressing this comment. It's just pure hate at this point. But I'll address it anyways. Why not? This is what a grown-up, spoiled 12-year-old looks like. Dude's probably never been told no ever and just hangs out with yes men to constantly inflate his ego. I'm not going to keep on reading because I already want to smash my head in. Again, you can't hate someone and understand someone at the same time. So, this guy's just made assumptions. Dude probably. Come on now. Do some research before hating. Come on. Led by pure emotion. Essentially what I'm trying to say is, if you don't have already a system in your brain that counts every decision, that is so scarcity mindseted, if you don't know what the scarcity mindset is very sensitive about your things. So scarcity mindset is often talked about in money, scarcity about your money, but essentially scarcity is like, if you guys do English, what do you call it, Mr. Scrooge or something, A Christmas Carol. Scarcity mindset is the fear of losing your money, basically. But you can apply the scarcity mindset in a good way to your decisions. This is partly why Steve Jobs and many CEO entrepreneurs wear the same thing every day. It's so that they don't cut down their decision and give themselves mental fatigue, so that they can apply their actual brain power to important things. Now, I will go into pros and cons. Pros, it completely and utterly eliminates the mental burning, the mental energy burning. You save that mental energy and you reapply that to your business, saving your family, etc. It saves time, of course. You just put it in the microwave for 4 minutes. Easy peasy. Another pro is that it's not actually that expensive. You would think it would be completely out of budget and you'd save tens of thousands of pounds or dollars if you just bought the groceries and cooked it yourself. But no, it's not actually that expensive. It's like, for example, I think this is just the first offer to get you into the delivery service. At least mine with Prep Kitchen, the one I showed you. The first week, 5 meals was for £25. What is that in maths? Like £5 per meal? That is pretty good. Especially with saving time and whatever. And then it goes up to like 30 something pounds. Another pro, I think is the most important pro, is that my mum doesn't have to cook as much. I don't know if you guys can hear that like stupid car that just started. Hold on. Let me just close my window. You can still hear the car, I'm pretty sure. Maybe you guys can't, but it's some dumpster fire car. It's like a very cheap £300 car with like a fart can in the exhaust. But anyways, the best pro here is that, personally for me, is that my mum doesn't have to cook as much. She, after working a hard days of work in a restaurant, or let's just say in the culinary field, she does not want to cook when she comes back home because it is so tiring. So yeah, my mom's actually very grateful when I had the service around that she didn't have to cook for me. But then again, she does have that motherly love of cooking. So in that time period, she did once in a while cook for me, regardless of my meals. Now, the cons. It's not insanely fresh. It's like if you cooked something and then had a leftover the next day and you ate it, that amount of freshness. It's bearable. Another con would be unwanted carbs. For someone like a productive CEO, entrepreneur, Sigma male, you don't necessarily want to eat spaghetti or pasta for your lunch because you still have another work block. You get what I'm trying to say? Let's say you have 3 work blocks in a day, 90 minutes each, with breaks in between. Hold on. You wouldn't want to have a high glycemic index. Okay, I'm just going to stop with the high level words. I'm sorry. You wouldn't want a high carb meal at lunch, would you now? By now, I'm pretty sure every one of you has at least had a plate of either noodles or spaghetti. Afterwards, you feel relaxed. Another con is that they repeat vegetables a lot. Some repeated vegetables is probably green beans or lettuce. They, of course, are allowed to do this and they have every right to because they are prepping mass amounts of foods. The fourth con is probably the bad oils. They, even though in the ingredients they list it as like sunflower oil or rapeseed oil and occasionally olive oil, you can't help but think of the quality of the oil if it's like polysaturated or whatever. Even with the olive oil as well, they aren't using extra virgin olive oil cold pressed in the mountains or whatever. So don't expect that you'll get very good skin. I think the last and final con would be, I'm not sure if this was the actual cause, but it did cause me a lot of acne. It may have been just straight up puberty. But since I've cut out the meals, my acne has been slowly improving throughout this month. So it's questionable. And my final conclusion would probably be that families is definitely different. You wouldn't be outsourcing your meals like this. With families, the best way to outsource it would probably to be going out on more family dinners in restaurants, but it's hard. It's hard. I can't really speak on that myself because I am a single child. I have no brothers or sisters. So I think if you are a single person, a single child, a single person living in a apartment, I think this is worth trying out just for 1 week and see if it actually makes a difference without just disregarding it and hating it when you haven't actually tried it yourself, and upholding cooking as a sacred thing that you must do or buy the groceries, etc. I'm not saying cooking is bad, and once again, I love cooking, but do you want to be poor? Another thing is, I was watching these, I don't know, I guess you can't even say documentaries, but just these YouTubers, they go around a lot of different countries. And all of these countries, they have amazing food, of course, because that's what their that's what their YouTube channel is about. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that most of these countries which cook for an insanely long time and prep for an insanely long time and make delicious looking food, they are mostly speaking not the richest. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Of course, you have exceptions like Saudi Arabia or whatever, prepping giant family meals with, I don't know, a bunch of rice, whatever. But generally speaking, all of these third world countries spend loads of time on cooking, and that's fine. Okay, if that makes all of you happy, and it sure does, it reunites the family, whatever, that's fine. But for those of us who's trying to get rich, I do believe this is something worth trying out. Me personally, now, if you're wondering why I haven't kept doing it, is because one, I have acne from it. I believe I got acne from it. Two, I have a lovely mother who is Asian and loves to cook sometimes. And so basically what my diet is now is steak and eggs and whatever my mum cooks me. I apologize if this clip was a little bit weird. I am a little bit sick. I hate to admit that because I've been taking cold showers for years, not years, months. But I do believe it's probably hay fever. But I think it's probably hay fever. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video.